Hi, I just quit my job a couple months back. Now, that's not the important part. The important part is the 4 people who actually inspired me to do it. Now, one of those people, I'm going to tell you their story. I'll tell you the other ones later. The first person is a man we're going to call Giannis. Now, Giannis was a manager at a small grocery store, and I was his financial planner, and I used to manage all of his money. And every week, Giannis would come bursting in my office, and he would have a different complaint about his job. Some of my favorites were, the owner is so cheap. I mean, he didn't even buy me a cake on my birthday. Or some of his other favorites were, you know what, the owner is an idiot. If this place did not have me, I don't know how it would run. And Giannis would do this every week after week after week. So one day I asked Giannis the big question. I said, Giannis, you know, you're in your 70s, you have a lot of money saved, you make good money. I mean, you could retire anytime you want and just do something else with your life. Why don't you just leave the job that you don't even sound like you like? And Giannis looked me dead in my eyes and he said, David, what would I do with my life? And I got excited. I was super excited about this. I've been wanting to ask him this question for so long, and I was super, super excited. And I said, Giannis, you know what? You could take some dance lessons, you know? You could just, learn the rumba, you know what I mean? And Giannis looked me in my face and he said, David, I came from a war-torn country. And when those bombs dropped, the shrapnel went inside my body. And I don't dance like I used to. I'm like, okay, Giannis, that was a little dark, but okay, why don't you get a girlfriend? And then Giannis said, David, women could drive me crazy, and I don't need that kind of stress. I was like, okay, Giannis, maybe, okay, why don't you start your own grocery store chain or something? And then Giannis said, David, at this stage of my life, I don't need that kind of stress. So, I paused, and then he paused, and then he looked at me, and I looked back at him, and then we smiled. And then I said, see you next week? And Giannis said, I'll see you next week, David. And then he walked out of my office. But something changed that day. Something that I just could not get over. And it just bothered me that day as I got home, as I meditated. Something was bugging me about that conversation. And I just couldn't figure out what it was. And then it hit me. I realized that me and Giannis were the same. We were the same person. I mean, the skin tone may have been different, but we were the same. The culture could have been different, but we were the same. Our ages could have been different, but we were the same. We were both trapped inside of our minds. And the best way I could describe it was like being trapped inside of a box. And on each side of the box represented our fears, our weaknesses, our failures, our challenges. And we were stuck inside of it. Stuck inside the box of our mind. But that's when I started to ask myself this other question, which was, if my mind is a box, then what's in it? And then that question started driving me insane. And then I started to really dig into it. I mean, what was in the box? I mean, what was in this box? And then it hit me. And then I realized what was in that box was my potential. What was in that box was my fire, my passion, my potential that I could do anything. In that box was a spark that could turn into a flame. And that could become an inferno that could change the world. And both me and Giannis had the same thing within us. And that's when I realized I had to leave the job that I was sitting at. That was the first thing that made me realize that. So you're here right now, and if you're still listening, you could be on that same journey. And I want you to join me on mine. And if you have anyone else you know that is going through something similar, share this with them. Because you know what? If we share our paths and our journeys together, we can do a lot of great things. Anyways, I want to welcome you to Hold Spark. Let's do it.